Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. Today we are going to do air layering, and we're going to air layer the branch I was talking about on this pear tree. And I want to take this branch off. I've already put a spacer in here to separate it because it was up tight against the other branch right here, and I need space in there. I got my plastic bottle, I got my scissors, I got my aluminum foil, I got my plastic wrap, I got my twine, I got my honey and brush there, and I've got some potting soil that I let soak for 2 days. I got it really, really wet, and it's soaked in that bowl for 2 days, and there's more than enough to fill that bottle right there, so that's exactly what I want. I have my knife ready down there. I have my pruning shears left right here just in case, and we're ready to get started. Now, first thing I want to do is I'm going to get my my smartphone into this camera holder, and I'm going to try to do that without hitting any buttons on the side of the phone and stopping this video in mid talk here. Let's see. So here we are. Right here is the area that I'm going to air layer. Okay. Now, the part I'm gonna air layer is 2 inches between this node right here and this node. So there's a good 2 inches right there. That's going to be the good section where I'm gonna take the bark off, and then my bottle will fit over that. So first thing I mentioned, you definitely want to have, let me see if I can get this a little bit better here. You definitely want to have a very sharp knife. Okay, so this is the knife I use, like I said, from Klein Tools, and it's got a 2-inch section of blade there, and it's very, very sharp. It's razor sharp. And there's no point on it, so I won't be poking the other branches with it and damaging the tree in any way. Now, let's see, before I get going, I think I'm going to get this branch right here out of the way. So I'm going to take my pruning shears and we'll take it back to about that node right there. All right, so I'll just stick that in the ground for now. Now this tree has a lot of life in it, and it's starting to show signs of budding on all of the branches. All these branches are getting greenery growing on the tips and that stuff. So we're going to get going on this right away because I want to get this air layering done so that I can cut this branch off and transplant it and have a clone. And then I'm going to use this last part of the branch as my my stub that I will graft another branch on, and I'm going to be grafting a Gala apple branch on here. So I can have apples and pears on the same tree. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is take my bottle here, and I'm going to get that ready. So I'm looking at right here at how high it's going to go on this branch, and it looks like if I let it sit right down in the Y of the branch there, it's going to come up just below this branch up here. So that'll be perfect. All right, so first thing we're going to do is take our scissors and we're going to cut the bottle right down the middle here. Okay, now when we get up to the top here, we have to have an opening for the branch to stick through. So we're just going to follow this little circle around right here, if I can. There we go. Oh, Sorry, hit the camera out of place. Trying to work around here. The bottom of this bottle has got a really thick plastic on it, and it doesn't want to trim. So, let's see if the knife will work any better. Oh, it doesn't want to cut at all. I think I chose a bad bottle here. All right, I'm going to go off screen for a second here, and I'm going to get my muscle into the scissors, and I'll show you what I end up with. That way I'm not reaching over the camera. There we go. All right. So let's get the camera back into place here. There we go. All right, so I got it cut. Now the label you don't need, so you can take that off, or you can leave it on. It won't matter because we're going to wrap this whole thing in aluminum foil anyway. But I got a hole in the bottom. I got the neck hole on the other side, and I got it split down the middle. So this is ready. Next, we're going to make our cut. So we're going to take our nice sharp knife, and we're going to figure our 2-inch area, which I said I wanted to do. I think I'm going to go from this section right here up to here. Okay, so as you can see, it cuts through the bark very easily just by applying a little pressure. So you don't really have to saw into the wood. That's why you want a nice sharp knife for doing this. And I'm going to come all the way around and join back where you started. Then we're going to go 2 inches down, which is right about there, and do the same thing again down here. All right. Once you got that done, you're going to take your knife and very carefully run a slit all the way down from one of the cuts to the other one. Okay, now you can work your knife under that bark, and you can see it'll lift right off. Okay, so now we want to peel that bark all the way around and take this whole section of bark out of there. You can take your time. Don't try to rush it, cut your fingers, or cut too deep into the tree or anything like that. Now don't worry about damaging the cambium layer underneath the bark at this point. This is not a graft, this is air layering, and we're going to intentionally damage the cambium layer when we get the bark off. I'm just concentrating and not flapping my lips here. And let me step around the tripod so I get to the other side here. This is a lot easier on a slightly older branch than this because the bark will be a little heavier. But this should work. Let me get around and get the last piece off the back side here. All right. So we got that done. Now, like I said, we're going to intentionally damage the cambium layer, and I already did quite a bit, but just use the edge of the blade and scrape up and down. And the cambium layer is that little soft greenish kind of slimy layer in between the bark and the white wood of the branch. Okay, so we got that damaged, and right now the tree is going ouch, 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 and it's sending energy from the tree up to this point to try to repair the damage to itself. So now we're going to take our raw honey here, natural uncooked raw honey, and we'll take my little paintbrush and pick up some of that raw honey on the paintbrush, and I'm going to coat this little area that I just damaged with honey. Isn't it funny how Mother Nature put all of this stuff right there just for us to use, and so many people go their whole life and never know that they can do that. All right, so I got that done. Next, we're going to take our bottle and we're going to fit our bottle into place around the branch. I find getting the neck around the bottom of the branch first your best bet. Okay, and then you're going to want your crack to be at the top, or the cut that you did on the thing, but you can rotate it to start, because we got to stuff this now with soil. Okay, so I'm going to take my bowl of soil and I'm going to start getting it in there. It's nice and wet, so it kind of clumps together. I'm going to stuff this bottle down with nice, wet, good, fertile soil. All the way around. And we want to make sure that we get that whole area that we damaged and cut the bark off. We want to cover that completely in good soil. Now you don't have to go all the way to the top of the bottle, because remember, we didn't cut the bark up in there, so we don't want to really bury too much of the bark. Just like burying a tree too deeply when you transplant, you should only transplant a tree into the soil the same depth that you took it out of the pot it came in. All right, so we got this stuffed with really good wet soil all the way around, and we got our bottle in place. So the next thing we're going to do, and I won't need to do too much tying, because I'm doing it right at a Y in the branch, which makes it hold pretty good. So what I'm going to do first is tie around that base and get a knot started there, and use a surgeon's knot. What that is normally when you start a knot, you go through one time and you pull it tight. Okay, go around a second time. That's going to make this want to stay tight when you pull it tight. It doesn't want to slip back. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my string around, and I don't need all of it, so I'm going to cut some of this off so I don't have to drag so much through the branch. Let's take it off about right there. Okay, so we're going to just kind of wrap it around to hold the bottle together and in place. And it doesn't have to be pretty. You're not trying to win an artistic award here. What we're trying to do is grow roots in the center of our branch on the tree. Okay, let's go around at the top here. pull that kind of tight. And then I come down to the original tail and tie it off. All right, so we got that tied off in place. Now I'm going to take, like I said, I like to use this plastic wrap as just as a little added, this is called stretch wrap. And I like to put this around just for a little added secure around the branch. So let's see, I'm going to need about that much. Grab my scissors, cut it off, and we'll tuck that in there and come around and wrap it into place. Okay. That's all there is to it. Okay, now see this opening up here? This is where I'm going to water when I need to add water to this every now and then to keep that soil wet and moist. So you see the water running down the tree here because it wants to run out the bottom. But the next step now will be aluminum foil. Curses, foiled again. Hold on, Nell, I'm coming. All right, so, you know, there are two sides to foil. One side is shiny, one side is dull. Okay, it really doesn't matter when you're talking about cooking. But in this instance, we want to keep the sun off of this area. So we want the shiny side out. That'll reflect sun like a mirror rather than heating up with the dull side. It would never heat up too much, but hey, you're doing it, you may as well do it right. Okay, so I got a tight area behind this branch here. Let's see if I can't get that into place. Okay, so like I said, we're going to water from the top here. So all you need is just enough room for water to get in, like that little hole right there. And then the rest of this, you want to make sure that it's secure so the wind doesn't blow it off. And if you're doing this out in the open somewhere where people might pass by and wonder what the heck is on the tree, and you'll get somebody who's a environmentalist will say, oh, somebody put some trash in the tree, and they go and rip it off, just blew your whole air layer. So if you're going to do this somewhere where other people are around, hang a tag from it that says air layering in process, do not disturb. Okay, so just a little tip to keep it. So that's all there is. And if you'll excuse me just a second, I'm going to walk over to the greenhouse and get the little watering can, and I'm going to add enough water so I see it run out the bottom again. That's it. Then we're all done. We would be all done for the day. But let me go get that right now. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Got my watering can, and I'm going to put some water in right there. And I can see it running down the tree now. So that's plenty of water. That's all it needs. And don't worry about it running down the tree. The tree kind of likes that. So that's it. I had a little extra soil. That's what you want. You don't want to come up short. And that's it. I'm going to clean up my tools and put everything away, and we're not going to disturb this other than watering, oh, say maybe once or twice a week, unless it gets really warm. Then I might have to go an extra maybe 3 times a week. But once or twice a week, I come over and I'll pour water in there until I see it run off the bottom, and I'll leave it alone. And then in about 3 weeks, we're going to open that foil up, and we should see a big ball of roots inside of that plastic bottle. And that'll tell us that we're just about ready to cut this branch off and put it into the ground or into a flower pot or something like that, so it can be moved and transplanted to another location. All right, everybody, that's it. Questions and comments on the down at the bottom. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down there and share this with your friends. This is G Bear signing off.